In the original run of the manga Vegito, the Potara fusion of Goku and Vegeta was the strongest character ever and a fan favorite. When Dragon Ball Super started in 2015, the fandom clamored for his return. People hoped, prayed, and theorized he would return once again. Anime fans wanted this more than a reply from the hot cosplayer they stalk on Instagram. Get it how you live. Finally, it happened. November 2016 is a time that I will never forget. The Chicago Cubs won the World Series for the first time since 1908. We were a month away from Rogue One, and back then, people still believed in Disney Star Wars. A new president of the United States was elected, and never before have I seen so many people fighting at once.
Call on a chopper. I'm being cock-blocked.
I mean, really. Twitter had so many kids fighting, I thought I stumbled into a fucking Cobra Kai season finale.
Come on, guys, can't we all just get along?
In the Dragon Ball fandom, though, we were approaching the end of the Goku Black arc, known as the Future Trunks arc, and Merge Zamasu was the final boss.
Final boss. Engaged.
There were clues sprinkled throughout the previous few weeks about Vegito, notably the reintroduction of the Potara for Merge Zamasu. But yet, none of the Shonen Jump spoilers mentioned anything about Vegito at the time. But it was Masako Nozawa herself, the voice of Goku, who spoiled that her and Horikawa recorded scenes for Vegito. The next episode preview at the end of Super Episode 65 showed us Vegito, but now in Super Saiyan Blue.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP!
Fanboy fantasies became a reality as Vegito fans around the world simultaneously felt their genitalia stiffen. Up until that point, this was the most hyped up episode of Dragon Ball Super ever. People threw babies in the air and ran out of the house screaming uncontrollably, making people over 70 wish they were actually dead. The episode was called The Climactic Battle, the Miraculous Power of a Relentless Warrior. What a lovely testicle tickling title that was. Merge Zamasu seemed unstoppable. He made history being the first villain to use Potara fusion in the anime. Goku uses Kaioken Blue to seemingly put Zamasu down, but he was far from finished. Remember the awesome 1977 original Star Wars poster? Well, I thought, wouldn't that be awesome if we have a Dragon Ball version? So I made it. Brand new merch to the Geekdom 101 store. The Future Trunks Hope of the Future merch line. This is one of the most beautiful pieces of art we've ever had here. And now you can get it on a poster, on a shirt, on a hoodie. I love it. Future Trunks with the Spirit Sword trying to save the future. I've done merch for so many different Dragon Ball characters, all of people's favorites, but not Trunks until today. The link is in the description for a limited time. Do not miss out on this one. This is a must own, but for now, let's get back to the video. As he rose up angrily, we began to watch his body fall apart. He looked like a fucked up Jekyll and Hyde or District Attorney Harvey Dent, aka Two-Face. Because only half of Merge Zamasu was immortal, the other began to fall apart due to the damage it was receiving in the fight. His arm mutated into this gross purple abomination.
You don't want to be like this. This is disgusting.
Goku suggests fusion again and thinks it's the only way to beat him. Gowasu, who was Zamasu's mentor before he turned on him, explains that those who are not gods like Kaioshin have a 1 hour time limit on the Potara. We'll talk more about that later. After not wanting to do it, the reluctant Vegeta gives in and fuses with Goku, and Vegito is born.
I'm the product of what happens when you post something cursed as fuck! Call me Delito! Delete this shit!
And like the original story, he rises up and says the same thing as he told Majin Buu. Vegito is the fusion of Vegeta and Kakaroto, and the name makes no sense in English because Kakaroto is Kakarot, and the extra T-O for toe at the end is what makes up Vegito's name. The Viz manga calls him Vegirot, which may be better fitting if you want to go down that route, but I don't like Vegirot. It just sounds weird as shit. Vegito Blue is born. Zamasu creates a giant barrier that Vegito Blue smashes with ease. Now you're playing with power.
Now you're playing with power.
Zamasu starts to talk his self-righteous bullshit about how mortals are beneath gods, and Vegito rushes him with a right hand, sending Zamasu back to fuck you land.
Emotional damage.
Vegito talking his shit is always a pleasure.
What's wrong? Is Majin Buu all out of trash talk?
Zamasu rushes Vegito and they start going at it harder than me and your mom beneath the bleachers.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
I mean, this is phenomenal. Thank you, Naotoshi Shida. It looks like Zamasu is down, but he sends Vegito away as their fists clash. Zamasu thinks he won and pulls out his psionic blade to finish off Vegito, but people forgot, well, people didn't forget, but Zamasu didn't even know, I would assume, that Vegito was using that technique when Zamasu was just a sperm cell. Okay, so not literally, but that was one of Vegito's moves in DBZ, and he did it way before Zamasu, and guess what? He got Zamasu right through his motherfucking chest. Vegito's trash talk is among the best ever here. Vegito explains that he thinks that Goku Black being fused with Zamasu has ruined the fusion, which is not entirely true. Zamasu explains that he chose the body of Son Goku to inhabit not just because it's powerful, but also because Goku represents a mortal who has surpassed gods in strength, and thus he has taken the sins of mortals and the failure of gods to put them in their place. Yeah, no cap, this is kinda good shit. Zamasu is a pretty solid villain here with his dialogue. Man, he hates the fact that any god is friends with a mortal. And guess what? He even starts crying. And Vegito clowns him for it. It's pretty funny. So then he grows in height, pulling a Piccolo, and powers up. Gowasu then steps in and says some shit about how his emotions are causing him to be unstable. And while he's explaining all this, Trunks is looking at him with this face like, huh? Seriously, his face here is priceless. This couldn't have been an accident. Vegito starts to hammer Zamasu with big shots. Pause.
Fight back, nigga! Fight back, nigga! Fight back! Fight back!
Then for the first time outside of the video games, we see the final Kamehameha. Yes, it happened so fast. It was so great to finally see Vegito do it in the anime, but it didn't finish the job. Then suddenly,
it's the biggest piece of dog shit.
Vegito unfused because, like always, the body couldn't support the power. Don't you hate when that happens? Vegito's fusion burned out like he was hitting it raw, but Zamasu's Super Dragon Ball Wish acted like his magnum, protecting him from falling apart like Seth Brundle in The Fly. Can a fusion ever finish anybody off outside of the movies? I want to tell you that including Vegito in this fight was not in Toriyama's original manuscript. Toei made the choice to bring him back for the fans, and Toyotaro followed suit. Because then there's the manga version. So in that version, there were some differences. Now, before they even fuse, the reveal of the Potara lasting 1 hour for mortals is mentioned, and Supreme Kai surmises that the reason Vegito defused in the fight with Majin Buu when he was absorbed is because of the time limit. But in Dragon Ball Daima, he and Kibito both tell Goku that it was because of a magic gaseous chemical inside of Majin Buu that split them. And Daima is supposed to take place before Super. Oops. Big oops. But it's a bit of a contradiction. Dragon Ball has a few of them. And honestly, both things can exist in the same universe. And both explanations work, but you gotta pick one or the other. You can't just say they both caused the unfusion. So in the manga, Vegito, aka Vegirot in the Viz version, man, brain rot is more like it. I have never liked Vegirot. I hate that name. Anyways, Vegirot goes at it with Zamasu, and I gotta give it to Toyotaro. Good art. Sometimes I jokingly call him Yo-Yo Taro, but when he does good stuff, he does good stuff. The fight is a bit different because the mutated Zamasu didn't fight Vegito Blue, but the bullet points are about the same. Gowasu says the fusion was unstable, and so they unfused early. Again, another explanation, same old shit.
No! No! No!
Fans love fusion, but they gotta stop with this crap, man. The anime came first when it came to Vegito Blue, and since this arc is named after Trunks, he has to be the one to shine. Then of course, it's Trunks' turn to do something, and we see the Deus Ex Trunks moment where he pulls out a move he's never done before to make the Spirit Sword like a spirit bomb gathering energy. Cool moment, I guess. I thought it was neat to see, but where the hell did Trunks learn how to do that? Vegito in Dragon Ball Super was like my sexual prowess. Good while it lasted, but it didn't last long. Luckily with Sparking Zero, we can play with him over and over. But now, also like my sex life, I'm left playing with myself. I'll catch you down the road.